Hi, everyone. Welcome to my podcast. My name is David Guillaume, and I've been a speaker of the spiritual wisdom of Kabbalah for over 20 years. To date, I've given over 2,000 seminars and donated over 30,000 hours of personal coaching covering the spiritual laws of relationships, health and healing, prosperity, and our soul's purpose. 10 years ago, my spiritual path laid the foundation to help me co-find what is one of the largest health and wellness brands in the world, called Mary Ruth Organics. Each week, I hope to share with you from a spiritual point of view the energy and challenges your soul might experience, as well as the practical real-life tools you can use to create miracles. If what you learn on my podcast inspires you, you may learn deeper on my masterclass, Ep.1.com. I've designed it to be a pay-what-you-can model so that it can be accessible to everyone, and of course, all proceeds go to charity. Hey, welcome everyone. I'm excited to kick off this podcast series and take your advice and go deeper with both spiritual, Kabbalistic, and real-life content from my own experiences and from my studies that I've gotten from my mentors over the last 25 years. I want to dive right into it. I'll try many different formats and get feedback from you on what you appreciate and what's most helpful. But the biggest feedback I've received is you would like to receive deeper content, deeper Kabbalistic and spiritual understanding of life, of our soul, why we're here, and how to tap into higher levels of consciousness. So I'm going to start by always be reading from different ancient texts. This is not my wisdom. This is not my knowledge. I think it's very limited to just be speaking from my own point of view. I want to share these deeper texts that the sages have given us over thousands of years and do my best to make it practical for you. I'll always be also taking concepts that are relating to this week's energy and what's happening cosmically, astrologically, energetically, that's affecting all of our souls. So I hope that you feel that this resonates with you and that it's content that you find that you can use practically right away in your life. So I'm going to first read a couple sections from the great sage. His name is Yehuda Ashlag, and came to this world close to a century ago and brought to us the most practical way of understanding Kabbalah. And one of the things that he helps us understand is how to elevate to higher levels of consciousness. And for those of you who might be newer to the wisdom of Kabbalah, you have to first understand that there are two forces in this world. There's the force of what we call the creator, that is an endless force of giving and sharing. And this creator force created the only other entity in this world, which is the vessel, the desire to receive all of this energy. In fact, the way creation unfolded has been a cause and effect chain. There is a cause, which is a force that wants to give and to share. And that created an effect, which is all the souls of humanity in order to receive and manifest the beneficence of this creator. And already we're gleaning a very powerful spiritual law for all of us. When we have a desire to share, a desire to bring something to the world, a desire to love, a desire to create, a desire for maybe a product idea you have and a product that you want to bring to the world, just by having this desire and it being a strong and true desire from deep within you, you will manifest immediately a desire in this world to receive that energy. So essentially what we're saying is, just by you having a desire to share a product with the world, this desire creates a customer to come and buy it from you. It's a really interesting concept, but you may be saying, well, a lot of people have created products and these products don't sell. The customers don't come. That's a deeper reason of why the customers don't come. The customers are there because you would never have an idea to create something unless there was someone in the world who had a desire to receive it from you. So on one hand, your desire to share is creating a desire to receive, but also this desire to receive was already somewhere in the world giving you the idea to share. It goes both ways and it's really powerful. And a lot of these concepts often might seem contradictory. On one hand, I'm telling you one spiritual secret, and then I might share another secret later that contradicts the first one. But you need to know that there is still truth and wisdom in both, because spirituality always has 2 points of view. From the point of view of the light of the creator, which is the source, and from the point of view of the vessel. Even the theory of relativity shares with us that the point of view always matters. So when you have a desire, a true desire, deep, and it's a real desire, it's 100% desire for something, then you will manifest a reality around you that will come to receive it from you. And often the reason why things aren't manifesting or your product is not selling is because your desire is not 100%. Your desire is maybe all over the place. I see this a lot in the times I did business coaching. People want to manifest something great. And what the negative side does is it comes and it interferes by giving you many more projects to do. The negative side starts giving you 100 ideas, 100 ways to make money, another hobby, another friend to go out with, another board to sit on, another company to invest in. This always happens. And I see it in my own life where when I'm on the track to creating something new that I really want to from the bottom of my soul, what does the negative side do to me? It gives me more quote unquote great opportunities. These are distractions that are there to take your desire and diffuse it, to compartmentalize it. And when the desire isn't strong, the universe does not know what to do. I've spoken about this many times before, which is there are really two concepts around desire that we all kind of fall prey to. One is either the desire isn't strong enough, so it becomes a diluted desire. And we know the difference of desire between someone who is already completely certain that no matter what, they will win, they will finish, they will manifest what they want. Nothing will get in their way. We know what that desire is like. It's like the Olympic athlete desire. It's the Navy SEAL desire. They know no matter what, they rather die than not win. And then there's a desire of, I would like to. It would be nice if. This desire is a weak desire. This desire is guaranteed to be blown over. One or two obstacles, a couple of doubts sprinkled in by the negative side, and this person is finished. So that's one concept around desire that causes us not to manifest. The second concept, which is actually a more common one, but a very tricky one, is what we call the competing desires. For example, you do have a strong desire to be in a relationship, to get married, to have children. And you're single now, and you're not sure why it's not manifesting in your life. In your 20s, you get into your 30s, and maybe in your 40s, and you're still alone. And you're wondering, what is it? I want so badly to be in a relationship. Why is it not manifesting? However, if we took your soul, which is made up of your desires, and we looked at it with a magnifying glass, or maybe like a spiritual MRI, we would see that there's a part of you that wants to be in a relationship. And then there's another part of you that actually wants to be free. Another part of you that loves being alone or loves your alone time. And maybe there's a third part of you that believes being in a relationship actually means you'll be controlled and you hate control. Now, what's going on here? We have three desires. You're probably most conscious of the first one, which is you desire to be in love. But there's these two hidden, what we call competing desires in your life that are sabotaging the first one. And what you get now is a gridlock of desires. These desires start to press upon each other and confuse the vibration of the universe. The universe is now confused. On one hand, there's a part of you that's signaling out to the universe, send me my soulmate. And then there's another part of you that's signaling out to the universe, I like my alone time. I don't want to be controlled. A woman once confessed to me that she realized there's a small, tiny part of her that doesn't want to be in a relationship because then when she gets married and she has children, she's going to lose her body. She's not going to be as she says, sexy as she is now, single. So it's this very interesting dynamic. She's trying to make herself attractive to find someone, but she also knows when she finds someone, she falsely believes she'll become less attractive. You see, we have a competing desire now. So there's a push-pull. Usually what happens in these kind of scenarios is after the third or fourth date, when things are going well, you'll find a way to sabotage it. you're not conscious of the fact that you're doing that. And so we begin to blame the types of men or the types of women, or we blame the city we live in, right? Every city I go to, what does everybody always say? It's impossible to date in this city. That's what they say. I ask single people, how is it dating in New York? How is it dating in Miami? How is it dating in Los Angeles? How is it dating in Houston or Austin? And it's funny, wherever you live, you will always say the hardest place to date is where you're living. And so a thought comes, well, maybe I need to go to a different city. Maybe I need to change my hair or change the way I dress, change the way I look. And of course, there's a spiritual foundation behind changing our environment for sure. But to realize wherever you go, there also goes your competing desires. So one of the things I would ask all of us who are listening, especially connected to this week's energy, because this week is all about the final manifestation of our soul's energy. And it's a very deep concept. I mean, I could give hundreds of podcasts just about what this week is all about and the final manifestation of our soul's energy. But one of the things that can be revealed to us this week is where our competing desires are. And one of the ways practically that I try to unearth mine is to know that if there's an area of your life that you're stuck, by the way, Kabbalistically, the definition of stuck means you should be able to manifest within seconds any desire you have. Like technically that's supposed to be the norm. Meaning I have a desire for something and it should appear in my life like within an hour. In fact, an hour is too long. I should say I desire my soulmate and this person knocks on my door. That's actually what the miracle realm is. But what happens is we desire a soulmate, we desire prosperity. And then it takes time and there's a process and it takes years or decades before we get what we desire. So this is the week to first realize if I'm stuck somewhere, it means I have a competing or a diluted desire. And this week we can be shown what those desires are. So what I like to do is just sit down and say, where am I stuck? Now, what are all my desires? And like write it on a piece of paper. What's all my desires around prosperity? What's all my desires around relationships, around children, around health? What are all my desires? And I share this once because for many of you might know that for the last 25 years, I've been studying Kabbalah. For the last 20, I've been teaching it all for charity. It's been my life's work, the most meaningful thing that I do. But at some point, realizing I'm in this physical world and having a family, I had to create sustenance, right? We have to live. And so created a brand with Mary Ruth 10 years ago called Mary Ruth Organics. That was our brand. And for the first 10 years of my life on a spiritual path, from the age of, I would say 19 to 29, I was so broke, like as broke as it gets, because my life was devoted to volunteerism and charity work. And when I was ready to finally go out into the world to draw sustenance, it was so difficult for the first few years. Nothing was working. And I started to realize I'm doing all this spiritual work. I'm helping so many people, but I'm still broke. I can't manifest anything in the real world. And that was an incredibly painful and to be honest, a period of feeling almost like a victim, like, hey, I'm doing all this good work and why isn't the universe, quote unquote, rewarding me, which is so against spiritual law to think this way, but I fell into this trap. And I started to look at, okay, well, what are my competing desires? Because the universe wants to give me, right? The creator wants to give you more than you want to receive, say the sages. The creator wants to give you millions of times more than whatever your desires are. And in fact, wants to give it to you at this exact moment. There's no blockage or delay in the creator. The delay is only because of what's happening inside of our own soul. So I realized a really powerful competing belief. I learned that in the early days of my teaching here in Los Angeles, it was the time where Kabbalah was very big in Hollywood and the celebrity world. And so I was involved in a lot of teaching privately in people's homes. And I was young, And this really had an impression on me. I saw that the wealthier the person that was learning, wealthy or famous, successful in some way, the more challenged their children were, the more dysfunctional their family was, the more chaos they had. I subconsciously associated great wealth and success with family dysfunction and difficult children. And a belief system emerged inside of me that I was not aware of that caused me to subconsciously push away success because I thought, falsely, the more successful you are, the worse your children will get. Now, of course, there's probably a statistical correlation to that. Maybe. I don't know the data on it. But that is a limitation of this world that is not based on any spiritual truth. The spiritual truth is the Creator has everything, and we can be like the Creator. We are meant to be like the Creator, which means you are meant to be abundant and have amazing children. And not to say that there won't be challenges in both departments, but this is your birthright, to have both and everything else. We have so many limited beliefs. And I think probably my next podcast, I'll talk about the next layer of limited beliefs that we have, such as one of the biggest ones I've noticed, and I can talk about this in the next podcast, the limited belief that I need to suffer to be successful. It's got to be a grind. There's got to be so much failure before you're successful, right? We watch these social media videos where, the basketball player, or the Olympic athlete, they failed and they suffered and they broke bones and everybody was against them and the world was against them. And then they pushed through and they rose up and 20 years later, they got a gold medal. And by the way, that's true too. That's a guaranteed way to get there. But what if just listening to a podcast for 20 minutes, you could change the belief system that you don't need to suffer to get a gold medal? What if you just believed that it was easy to get a gold medal? What if you believed that it was easy to make $1 million? It was easy to find your soulmate. Elon Musk thinks it's easy to colonize another planet. Now, for him, he has a lot of challenges, but they're probably as many challenges as we may have just building a business down the street. The point is, it's all consciousness. It's all whatever you believe that creates your reality. If engineers come to Elon Musk and say, well, we can't make this car or this space shuttle this certain way because he writes this in his book, because of this law or this regulation, and it's not possible, it's never been done before, he just says, well, hire some lawyers to change the law. What's the big deal? I mean, how many of us, if a law told us we couldn't do something in the business world, our next logical thought would be, well, I guess I'll hire a bunch of lawyers to go change the law. Like, as a very matter-of-fact way. Oh, again, it's all relative. It's all relative. He's on his level, we're on our level. But the point is, no matter what level you're at, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what business you're in, or religion you're a part of, or spiritual path, it's all the same spiritual concept. Whatever you believe becomes your reality. So this week's energy, find those competing beliefs. Write down all your desires and actually see which ones are clashing with each other. That's where the energy is stuck. That's where the greatest miracles are ready to come forward in your life. And next week, I'll talk about more limited beliefs and how we can break free from them.